Hey guys, welcome back to Reserved Investments on YouTube. So I have a friend who wants to sell part of his Vectrex collection. And of course, given the fact that I'm in the antiques and collectibles trade, and of course I do consulting on the side, he gives me a ring and he says, hey Sean, I got an awesome Vectrex collection for you to appraise and sell because I went out and I got a Sean Kelly multi-cart for my Vectrex system where I can play all these games through one cartridge, and I want to sell the complete collection as it is, and I want you to get me the best amount of money possible for this particular collection. So I says, okay. I picked up the collection. Pretty much all of it is mint and complete in the box. Now, to be fair, there is some damage to some of the boxes, which can be expected, because you got to remember, the Vectrex came out in 1982. So a lot of these games are pretty much 40 years old at this point, or close to it. So I wanted to do a video on this because I'm repeatedly asked to talk about a lot of the business side of the antiques and collectibles trade that I'm involved in, where I do higher end consulting, or I deal with clients who don't want their identities to be revealed. Now, to be fair, I cannot disclose a lot of the business dealings that I have on the consulting side of the trade. However, there's a lot of people that watch my videos and they get a little frustrated because aside from sprinkling in some pieces of high-end currency or from some coins from time to time, I really don't show off my own personal collections. And that's done for multiple reasons, which we're going to get to when I do another upcoming Q&A. But ultimately, when I get a collection like this in that I'm able to show on camera, I'm happy to do so because I think it's a great learning experience. As we look at these particular items, we can analyze the market for them, and I can tell you what trends I'm seeing and why personally I would not be investing in Vectrex games at present time. And I hate to say that because those of you that think I'm manipulating the market somehow need to realize everything that you're going to see today in this video is going to be listed on eBay over the next coming weeks. So here I am telling you not to invest in this stuff, but I have a vested interest in the sale of these particular items. So let that sink in a little bit for some of you out there that think I have an ulterior motive for creating this channel and for writing articles through Antiques and Auction News. There's a lot of people that think I'm getting too much power in the trade because this channel has a whole 1,300 subscribers. Well, if you look at a lot of the prominent YouTubers that just exist alone in the Magic the Gathering, the Pokemon, or the vintage video game space, you're going to see most of the other boys, they pretty much eclipse me by several 100,000 subscribers on average. So when I do a video like this, I assure you, there is no motive to try to manipulate the market. Now, to be fair, as I've said before and showed you guys the book, I have manipulated the antiques and collectibles trade before. You can hate me all you want. I was one of the driving forces between the 1995 and 2005 speculative bubble that brought the cost of Atari games, Intellivision games, ColecoVision games to new heights. I admit that fully. You want to punish me for that 20 years after the fact or 15 years after the fact, feel free. But you're really not going to hurt me because pretty much I told people back then they should not be investing in these type of items. Just like I'm telling you guys that are going after vintage WATA-graded games and paying a stupid fee for all these stupid first edition, first print Nintendo games. I'm telling you, some of you guys are being easily manipulated by a lot of these players that are entering this market. I'm done with my rant. We're now going to look at this collection in depth. I'm going to tell you what I think of the Vectrex marketplace. I'm going to tell you what trends I'm seeing, and I'm going to tell you why this is a bad investment for somebody who wants to put their money in something and make it grow over the next 10 to 20 years. So I'm going to go through each of these games, and a lot of these games were purchased literally at Lionel Kitty City. You can see the price tag for $4.99 through clearance back in 1982. Now, if you're wondering why the Vectrex never caught on, the answer is simple. It was released in 1982, literally a year before the great video game crash. And what most people don't realize is because of what the Vectrex is and the technology within it, it cost a lot to produce this particular system and some of these games. To be fair, the system had its fair share of incredible products. I have in this collection the original boxed, I'm going to show you, light pen with the game. Now, this is something that is quote-unquote very scarce today. It is not as rare as the 3D Imager. The 3D Imager was an amazing piece of technology when it launched back in 1982. It's almost as comparable to, not really, but almost, the Sega Master System 3D glasses, which I always thought were a very prominent piece of technology that were slightly ahead of their time, even though they launched somewhat later in the 1980s. That said, one of the things when we analyze the market for Vectrex, the market is pretty much already matured and pretty much moved on. What do I mean by that? The generation that grew up with these games is already pretty much done with them. There's not going to be a second price spike in the Vectrex market, just like there probably won't ever be a secondary spike in the Atari, ColecoVision, and television marketplace either. Those collectors that bought that stuff and held on to it, they pretty much either moved on or they already have what they want to collect in those particular collecting categories. Be very careful if you click on a lot of clickbait articles on the internet that say things like Beanie Babies are coming back or Pogs are going to be the next big thing again. A lot of those markets were very speculative back in their original heyday. The chances of a collecting category like that catching a second set of wind and taking it even higher and becoming prominent again are slim to none, guys. Collectibles are linear, antique marketplaces are cyclical. So, if you're going to be investing in this stuff, it is a bad idea. That said, if you want to own it because you like these games, by all means, now's a good time to buy. If you just want to buy them, realizing that, hey, if you go to sell, you may or may not even make your original investment back when you go to sell. So you got to keep that in mind. There's an opportunity cost to everything in life. Investing or collecting antiques and collectibles is no different. So let's look over some of these games. Now again, all these games are mint complete in box. All of them have the overlays, the manuals, everything. Now, the rarest, as I said, item in this collection is the Vectric Slate Pen. Ironically, guys, the original price of the Vectric Slate Pen was $8.99. This is a unique piece of technology. This is what the light pen looks like. You plug it into the cartridge slot. It pretty much just looks like this. This is the game Art Master that was originally packed with it. As you can see, due to the wear over how this was pretty much kept, the case is pretty much disintegrating. So is the box, to be fair. This box is falling apart, but it is still pretty much intact. Now, let's talk about the games. By the way, there's the manual for Art Master. These games, some of them are incredible. If you play Spike, I guarantee you, even though this is a vector graphics game, you will be amazed even to this day. This is one of my favorite games on the system. Next up, we have Fortress of Nars. Believe it or not, somebody pulled this out of the bargain bin for $4.99. This is probably one of my favorite Vectrex games. Next we have Ripoff, which is an okay game based on the arcade. It's a pretty cool game though, nonetheless. Again, this was pulled out of a bargain bin at Lionel Kitty City for $4.99. Next we have Scramble, which is a great game for this system. Again, little boxware, as to be expected, because these games are from 1982. Next, we got Spinball, which is a mediocre pinball game in my opinion. There are a lot of people that like this game for the Vectrex. I am not a fan. Again, $4.99. Next, we have Star Castle. Star Castle, in my opinion, is one of the best games for the Vectrex. You may disagree. I happen to like it a lot. This game has no price sticker on it, ironically. Next, we have Heads Up Soccer. Now, as we all know in video game collecting, sports games are pretty much predominantly worth less than most other games, 97% of the time. Well, it's no different when we talk about the Vectrex. This is an okay soccer game. Ironically, you're not going to get rich even buying this at $4.99 almost 40 years ago and selling it today. The opportunity cost of inflation, and the greater growth of the stock market pretty much killed any overall investment in these items. And this is a point I want to bring up before I go through the rest of these games. You have to understand that a lot of you, I'm sure, are looking at the price sticker going, well, Sean, if I could go back to 1982 and I could pay $4.99 for each of these games, even if I get 30, 40 bucks a game, mint in the box, or in some cases 50, 60, in other cases maybe a little less, I would make a fortune today. Well, here's the thing, guys. Back in 1982, if you would have took your $5 plus tax and you would have put it in an S&P 500 index fund or even a total stock market index fund, that $5 would be well worth over $100 today. So really, on average, you guys that think going to Best Buy or GameStop or Walmart or Target and buying games like this today in the bargain bin, keeping them factory sealed, thinking that they're going to be worth a fortune in the future, you would have been better off investing in the stock market. If you don't believe me, go do the math, log on to the internet, and look how much $5 is worth today in inflationary dollars. And also look, if you would have put $5 back in an S&P 500 index fund back in 1982, what you would have today compared to that value. And you'll see the stock market was a better bet than buying these video game cartridges, even at $5 a piece, brand new. Now, to be fair, if you would have kept these sealed, yes, some of these would probably sell for hundreds of dollars today. Then you would have returns on par with the stock market, if not higher. But opening up to play them, even if you bought them for $4.99 and kept them in the box, you would have did better in the stock market than owning these games. Just want to put that out there. Next, we have Armor Attack. This is an excellent tank game for the Vectrex. Some people like it, some people do not. I happen to enjoy it thoroughly. I think it's a lot better than Combat if we can compare the two. Let's be honest. Bedlam. This is an okay game. I know some people love this game. Other people hate it. I thought it was okay. Let's talk about Melody Master. Now, this game's a little bit uncommon and hard to find because it was made for use with a light pen. So this game at $4.99 would have probably been a steal even if you opened it back in 1982. I don't know, though, now what this game goes for. I remember back in 2004, I sold a copy of this mint in the box, and it went for over $100. I don't think in 2020 a game like this is going to go for over $100. We'll have to see. Another game that I really liked, but it isn't worth much, is Star Trek. This is one of the common games for the Vectrex. It's a great game. It is an awesome shooter, in my opinion, but again, it was one of the games that really sold systems along with Berserk. Berserk and Star Trek seem to be the two most common Vectrex games that I encounter on the secondary marketplace, or even if I come across a box of Vectrex games at a video game convention or even at a yard sale. Next up, we have Blitz. This was their version of a football game. Again, this probably is not worth much today, even complete in a box like this. Again, it's a sports game. I never liked the sports games on the Vectrex. Sorry, guys. Maybe you guys have your own opinion on that, but they're just not some of my favorite games. Here we have Solar Quest, and as you can see, somebody ripped the label off the box, so there is a little bit of damage here. This is an okay game. I give it like a 4 out of a 10. It's not great. You might be able to spend some time with it. Maybe you love it. I just didn't find it that appealing. Cosmic Chasm, however, is one of my favorite Vectrex games. I always thought this was a cool game. It's kind of hard, but at the same time, I like a good challenge. And this game is more for people who pretty much are used to playing arcade-based shooters with a twist. If you do like games like this that kind of make you think, I think the equivalent of this is Turmoil for the Atari 2600 or Reactor. One of those games has a similar theme. They're pretty fun games overall. Last but not least, we have Clean Sweep. Clean Sweep is an okay game. It's almost like a Pac-Man clone, which I consider a good thing. That said, this is something that's a little bit uncommon, so I would expect maybe to get 30, 40 bucks for this without looking up the price at present time, complete in box, maybe a little more. We'll see how these do on auction or if I list them as a buy it now. So that's my take on the Vectric system. Be very careful, again, if you are looking to invest in this type of stuff. I just wanted to show you this collection because a lot of people ask me, how come I never show collections or stuff that I'm involved in on camera? There are reasons for that, guys, if I am involved in confidential consulting, or there may be things that I own that I don't want other people out there to know that I own. That's why I'm hesitant to do videos on some of this stuff. If this video gets enough views, though, I will try to compromise, and I will show some of my more expensive or more eccentric items on camera. The reason why I'm showing this one is because I'm going to be selling it for a friend, so you guys are all going to see this stuff appear on eBay over the next couple of weeks. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I normally don't do videos like this. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have a great night. I'm off to the gym.